For some, a plane is just a means of transportation, but for the US head of state, Air Force One is also an office and home away from home. And now the public will get a chance to see up close and get a peek inside a full-sized replica of Air Force One. It will be on display at National Harbor outside of Washington, D.C. Here's what you'll be able to see. The front section of the aircraft where the presidential suite is located. Bedroom, conference room, and office. The section for the presidential staff and the Secret Service, guests and journalists follows. Stewards who have flown on Air Force One for decades say their job is not always easy. Howie Franklin, who worked on Air Force One for 30 years, remembers one tense moment during a flight with President Clinton.
I had to wake him up. He only had 2.5 hours sleep. So I came in and I went over to the bed and he was laying here and I leaned on him a little bit and he kind of moved and I leaned on him again and he kind of moaned a little bit. And finally I said, boy, I hate to do this. And the president said, well, don't do it. That was a direct order from the President of the United States of America.
Stewards have loads of stories like that and fascinating anecdotes about U.S. presidents. President George Bush, who was president between 1989 and 1993, disliked one vegetable, and the stewards took note.
President Bush, he was pretty much a regular standard. He didn't have any Pacific meals that, the only thing, he didn't like broccoli, so we made sure that we didn't have any of that along.
Becky Schultz became the first woman in the Air Force One cabin crew, and President Ronald Reagan, who was president between 1981 and 1989, made Becky feel right at home on Air Force One.
When I was hired, my official photograph with President Reagan, he, knowing that I was the first female to be hired on the air crew, put his arm around me, and he always liked to talk with his hands. He put his arm around me and he said, Beck, we all put our pants on the same way, one leg at a time, and what a great way to be introduced to the crew.
There have been grave matters aboard Air Force One as well. It was the backdrop for a moment in history in November 1963. After President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, his vice president, Lyndon Johnson, took the oath of office aboard the aircraft. It's believed the presidential plane got its special name during the Eisenhower era by a cautious pilot afraid the plane would get mixed up with others. For Nastasia Yegmen in Oxon Hill, Maryland, I'm Anna Rice, VOA News.